Welcome to Pet Pals. I'm Bethany Davidson, the Humane Educator here at Frederick County Animal Control and Pet Adoption Center. We have several wonderful animals to introduce you to this morning. And sitting over here with our volunteer, Tammy Benson, is our first guest, and this is Kane. And he is a 3-year-old Jack Russell Terrier. And he came to us because his owner said that they were unable to deal with his anxiety level when they left. So there are a couple of things that could be. Some dogs have isolation anxiety, which just means that they don't want to be left alone. Grandma Tala, who is one of our dogs in foster care, she has isolation anxiety. She doesn't like to be left alone, but she's happy to be with any person. It doesn't really matter who. Then the other thing that it could be is separation anxiety, which is generally linked to specific person or people that they need to be around. So they just said that his anxiety level is too high when he's left alone. So I'm not sure which of those it is, but there's always ways that you can cope with that. They say that he breaks out of his crate when he's left unattended. So maybe you don't crate him, maybe you put him in a room. Maybe sometimes baby gates can work with certain dogs. They just don't like to feel trapped. Tala actually has a system where she's has a little bit of a tether system in a home where she gets to run free and doesn't feel like she's confined, and that actually works for her. So there are a lot of things that you can do to help a dog that has anxiety. One of them is just making your comings and goings very boring, if you will. Not getting all excited and saying goodbye and then coming back in and being all excited again, because then they're gonna sense that there's something wrong. Like, why are you leaving? Why is there so much kind of fanfare around when you do this and that? So it could also possibly be just that home environment. He might do better in a different home, so or do better where there's another animal living there with him as well. So it's hard to tell, but that's the reason they surrendered him. Because he can be a little jumpy and excitable, just like any Jack Russell Terrier, we have suggested that he go to a home with older children, 13 and up, just because he's very excitable and jumpy. If you're interested in Kane, you can stop in and visit him here at the shelter. Our address is 1832 Rosemont Avenue. Our next guest is Thea, and our cameraman Richard said, is she a repeat guest? And the answer is ultimately yes. Thea is a return to shelter. She was previously here about 1.5 years ago as Midnight, and she is a 9-year-old boxer mix, and she is as sweet and as cute as can be. She is blue color coded this time in the shelter, which means that she's the most kind of easily adaptable. She's likes to be with people the most. She knows basic manners. She doesn't really struggle when doing vet checks. She's easy to walk. She's just a great dog, and most of our blue color coded dogs happen to be seniors, just like Thea. We have several of them on the floor right now. Normally they're pretty rare, but lately we've been having lots of blue color coded dogs. So if you want a very chill, relaxed, loving dog, it's a great time to stop in the shelter and take a look. Thea was brought to the shelter this time because her owner was having to leave the country and was unable to take her along. She's used to being around children of all ages. They say that she's playful, she's calm, she walks nicely on a leash, she's used to bath and vet checks. In fact, her owner said that she is perfect. They also say that she is a little sensitive, that if you give her cues, things like sit and off and things like that, too strongly, then she can be fearful of you. So, sometimes it's just important to have a gentle voice when you're dealing with animals. And it says that she's afraid of the crate, so they did not leave her in a crate. So if you plan on crating your dogs, maybe you have to find a different situation that would work for Thea. Her behavior assessment that we've done this go around is great for Thea. She uses her separate run and keeps her kennel pretty clean. She's very friendly, no reaction to other dogs. She's easy to obtain, she's easy to walk. She has no issues with food aggression. She likes to be petted. She will try to jump in your lap, as we've seen. So she's just really, really sweet and needs what will probably be at least from our experience, her third chance at a forever home. So if you are willing to give this amazing dog another chance at a loving family, then please stop in and visit with her. We are open Monday through Saturday, and because she is a senior, she will go home for a $20 reduction in her adoption fee. This handsome guy is Bradley, and he came to us as a stray. He's a German Shepherd mix. He's black and tan. We've aged him anywhere between 6 and 8 years old, so he's an older guy, but still has plenty of life in him, likes to wiggle around on the floor, roll around, play. Bradley came to us as a stray, as I mentioned earlier, but he was actually taken to the vet. Someone he could have possibly been hit by a car. So that's what a lot of the scars on him are from. That's what they diagnosed him as, but he is healing up nicely. He also has some patches of kind of hair loss that is likely flea dermatitis from having lots of fleas when he came in as well. So we've treated Bradley and got him to a nice, healthy place. And we are ready to now find him a loving forever home who's going to make sure that he's never going to have to deal with what he's dealt with in the last few weeks or so ever again. We have behavior assessed Bradley, as we do all of our adoptable animals here at the shelter. And we found that he's not great about keeping his kennel clean, so that's something that his his new family would have to take into consideration, make sure that they're working with him on that. But he's very friendly, he has no reaction to other dogs, he's easy to obtain. He can pull a little bit, but otherwise he's very easy to walk. He has no issues with food aggression. He willingly lets go of objects when we tested him, so he loses interest pretty fast in his toys. And as you can see, he loves to be petted. So he is color-coded orange, so that just means he's an average dog. He has some basics down, but you know, he might require a little bit more training in some other areas. If you're interested in being the new family for Bradley here, you can stop in and visit with us. Our kennels are open Monday, Tuesday, and Friday from 10 to 5, on Wednesday and Thursday from 12 to 8, and on Saturdays from 10 to 4. Next up, we have another bonded pair for you. We have 3 bonded pairs on our adoption floor right now. We've introduced you to the first 2, Iris and Jinx, and then Brendel and Piper, and now we have Gracie and Buddy. So Gracie is the bigger dog. She is the brindle and white boxer mix. And then we also have her friend Buddy, who is a black and tan beagle mix. Buddy is the more confident of this duo, and Gracie really relies on him. She's very shy. She feels much safer and more secure when Buddy is around. She's much more outgoing when he's there to provide her with that support. Sometimes I like to say, you know, one of the dogs in the pair always needs an emotional support dog, and Buddy is definitely Gracie's emotional support animal. So together they are a good mix. They were brought to us because the owner was just unable to care for them. Buddy is 3 years old and Gracie's 4, and they've lived together for the last 3 years. They are playful and energetic. Buddy's a little bit of a jumper. They're both used to vet checks and baths and things like that. They're both, according to their previous owner, both house trained and crate trained, but you never want to assume that a new pet that you bring into your house is house trained. You want to retrain them, give them a little bit of a refresher course. But then Gracie can be a bit nervous in new places, which we've definitely seen here. Their behavior assessments are good. Buddy here keeps his kennel pretty clean. He's friendly, reacts favorable to other dogs, easy to walk. He'll no issues with food aggression, willingly lets go of objects. And Gracie, she actually doesn't like other dogs as much as Buddy does, but she, again, keeps her kennel clean. She's friendly, she's easy to obtain, easy to walk, no issues with food aggression, no issues with guarding, and she likes to be petted as well. The only thing is that she's really much shyer when he is not there to provide her with some comfort. If you have it in your heart to adopt 2 special animals, we have 3 pairs for you to choose from, including these guys. So you can stop in and visit with any of our dynamic duos by visiting 1832 Rosemont Avenue. Our last canine guest today is a familiar face. This is Opie, and for whatever reason, Opie still hasn't found his forever home. But Opie is actually an amazing dog and incredibly well behaved, and he just doesn't always show well in his kennel because he's so excited to see people and he wants to go outside so badly that he can be a little bit talkative, if you will, in his kennel. But Opie has basic manners down. He just was fortunate enough to be able to go to a training camp for about a week. So he knows sit and down and paw. He walks nicely on a leash with and without harnesses. So he learned things like trade, and he takes treats gently. And he loves to play, whether he's playing with people or he's playing with other dogs. He does really well meeting other dogs. He understands the cues that they're giving off. And he, even though he's a bigger dog and he actually weighs in at 74 pounds, he's very gentle in his play with them. And he, as he's showing us right now, loves squeaky toys. He loves to destroy them, to squeak them, to chew on them. He is also a huge fan of tug of war. So there's a lot of stuff that you can do with Opie, and he does, again, have those basic manners down. He really enjoys riding in the car. I took him to Yappy Hour recently. He rode nicely in the car. He hopped right in. He sat in the back seat, looked out the window, sniffed out the window. We actually took him to a restaurant, and even though he can just basically walk up and put his head on a table, he actually didn't really go after anyone's food. He sat nicely. He's easily redirected with toys and treats, and that's part of, you know, his hound dog. He's easily distracted. So he just has amazing things. Don't let how he greets you in his kennel deter you from looking further and getting to know Opie a little bit more, especially if you are interested in a hound type dog. If you have a lot of time that you spend outdoors, he would really enjoy that. If you have space for him to run and play. Hounds do not typically make good dogs for apartments because, number one, he's fairly large in size, and number two, they can be a little loud. They like to be outside. They like to sniff things. So before you do make the decision to add a hound to your home, if you're not familiar with the breed, I would encourage you to do a little bit of research so that you know what you're getting into. But Opie is a fantastic dog. He's just waiting for the right person to come along. That's going to wrap it up for this portion of the show. If you're more a cat person, come back after the break and we'll introduce you to 5 adoptable cats here at Frederick County Animal Control.
Did you know a person can have colorectal cancer and yet have no symptoms? Symptoms of colorectal cancer may include bleeding, blood in the stool, abdominal pain or mass, and changes in bowel movements. Ask your doctor if you should be screened for colorectal cancer. Call the Frederick County Health Department at 301-600-3362 for more information or for free colorectal cancer screening for eligible individuals.
Welcome back. Our first cat of the day is one of our amazing lap cats. This is Molly, and Molly is also one of our longtime residents. She's been here since May 14th, and we're hoping that we can get her a wonderful forever home. Molly is about 8 years old, so she's definitely past that kitten stage. She just wants somebody to spend time with, to cuddle up on. She wants somebody to love and adore her, which is pretty much what she's getting right now. She is a return to shelter. She was previously adopted and then brought back. Unfortunately, her owner had fallen ill, and the daughter who was has now to care for her, has 4 dogs of her own, so she was unable to add a 5th animal to her household. So they brought Molly back to us so that we could find her another loving home. She's only ever known one home, so you know, she's very used to her routine, but she's acclimated very well to a new shelter routine. She's very quiet, but she can ask for attention when she wants it. She has what I refer to as like a little old lady meow, and she'll come right up to the front of her cage and ask for attention. And when she wants it, just like any other cat, when they want to be on their own, then they will, you know, go off and hang out on their own. She likes her cat bed. She can be a bit of a picky eater, so she's eating what we refer to as the McDonald's of cat food, the meow mix, which she seems to like. Those are important things to know if you're thinking about taking Molly home, just so you know what she likes and you can make you know, your house very comfortable for her. She is an older cat, and sometimes with older animals they require dentals, and she does need a dental here in the relatively near future. But fortunately for Molly, a grant through the Humane Society of Frederick County is going to help with that. So they're going to provide some funds for her vet care, so hopefully her new owner will be able to get that done without having to foot the whole entire bill themselves. So Molly is wonderful if you have a nice quiet home and you're just looking for a companion. She would fit right in. She doesn't necessarily need to be an only cat. She's never been with another cat, but I'm sure that she would acclimate well to being a second or a third cat in a home where there's already pets. If you're interested in Molly, please stop in and visit with her here at Frederick County Animal Control. This next cat is one of my favorites. I have to stop and say hello to her every day. This is Emmy, and she's about 3 to 4 years old, and she's swaddled up because she's one of our really shy cats. But her shyness is short-lived, if you will. She's in a new space right now, so she's with some people that she's not familiar with, so she's kind of unsure of what's going on. So I swaddled her up so that she could feel a little bit more secure. But when you visit her in her cage, she's a totally different cat. You give her about 60 seconds where she's, you know, assessing you, figuring you out. She'll sniff you, and then she goes right into pet me, pet me, pet me. She wants you to rub all over her. She shows you what she likes. She flops down on her back and rolls over, shows her belly. She just purrs and purrs and purrs, and it's really just a quick turnaround for her. But you have to be able to be a little bit patient with her. You know, when people come over, she's not going to necessarily rush right up to them. And it could just be the shelter environment is a scary place for her. She was here previously, about a year ago, and she was the same way. You know, she's very shy initially, but then you give her just a few seconds, and then she's wants your attention, and she's ready to accept whatever you're going to give to her. Unfortunately, Emmy is back at the shelter at just 3 to 4 years old because her owner, who was, you know, lavished her with all the attention she wanted, unfortunately passed away, and there was no one to take care of Emmy. We have many animals on the adoption floor right now for those same reasons. Either people are desperately ill, or they have actually passed away, and that's why the animals have come back to us. So it's important to remember that just as you would make preparations for your property and for your children, you need to make arrangements for your animals and your pets. What is going to happen to them if you're no longer there to care for them? have somebody in mind who's going to be able to take on that responsibility so that they don't end up back here in the shelter with us. But she's already been spayed. She's received all her vaccines. She just needs someone who's going to be patient. She would probably prefer, a more quiet home because that's what she's used to. She's used to living with an elderly person who she's just their companion. So I imagine that she would enjoy going back to that. But any home where there's going to be not necessarily tons of kids running around and making loud noises would be a suitable home for her. So we usually say kids for shy animals about the age of 6 or older would be best for them. If you're interested in adding sweet little Emmy to your home, you can stop in and visit her here at Frederick County Animal Control. If you want to see what her application status is before making the trip in, you can always give us a call. Our number is 301-600-1546. Achilles is one of our younger cats on the adoption floor. He's only 9 to 10 months old, but what really sets him apart is just how stunningly handsome he is. He has those great markings on his face that definitely make his eyes pop, and he's just so handsome. The first time I saw him, I was like, I had to do a double take. I went back and I was like, oh, who is this guy? And it was Achilles. He came to us because the landlord won't allow the family to keep a pet. So this is something that's really important. People always want to know why we have such a lengthy adoption process. It really only takes 2 to 5 days, but one of the things that we do is we call landlords to make sure that the applicant is allowed to have an animal in their home, because we don't want us to adopt an animal out somewhere and then have it be returned for these reasons. So some people might think that, oh, well, that's not fair, but it's in the best interest of the animal, and that's what we're here for. It's our job to find the best loving homes possible for all of the animals in our care. Achilles is used to living with cats and dogs. He's been around children of all ages. He can be a little shy at first, but then he opens up very quickly. They say he's a lap cat, but he's also very playful, energetic, he's friendly. You can handle him. I picked him right up, no issues. They say he's also independent. We've color-coded him orange, which basically encompasses all of those things. He just does what he wants to do when he wants to do it. He wants to hang out on your lap when he's in the mood to do so. He wants to play when he's in the mood to do so. And he wants to be off by himself when he's in the mood to do so. Achilles would be adopted for a fee of $97.50. That covers his neuter. He will definitely be neutered before he leaves. We will make sure he gets his rabies vaccine, distemper vaccine, county license, dewormer, flea and tick preventative. We'll also make sure that he gets microchipped, and we also provide a free well visit to the vet. So all of that for just under $100. Just getting your animal spayed or neutered is going to be in excess of that somewhere else. So you really can't beat the deal that you're getting when you adopt from Frederick County Animal Control. If you are interested in the handsome Achilles, the first step towards making him part of your family is going to be to stop in and visit. Our address is 1832 Rosemont Avenue, and we are open to the public 6 days a week, Monday through Saturday. This little adventurer is Talise, and she's a petite girl weighing in at just 6 pounds, 5.5 ounces, but she's actually a fully grown cat. She is 1 to 2 years old. She came to us as a stray. She is an adorable little brown tabby with white. So we're still learning about Talise. She's been with us since the beginning of July, but she had an upper respiratory infection, which is common for the cats to get here. So it took her a while to heal up from that, and now that she's healthy, she's on the adoption floor looking for a forever home of her very own. Talise here has not been microchipped, but before she gets adopted, she will be microchipped. All of our cats and dogs get microchipped before they leave the building. The other things that we do, we make sure that all the animals are spayed or neutered, so Talise will be spayed before her adoption is completed. We'll give rabies vaccine, distemper vaccine, dewormer, flea and tick preventative. We will give them a free well visit to the vet. We test the cats and kittens for feline leukemia and feline AIDS. The dogs get all of that same stuff, but they also get a Bordetella vaccine, and then we test them for tick-borne, mosquito-borne pathogens like heartworm and things of that nature. As I mentioned earlier in the show, just getting an animal altered is going to be well over that approximate $100 mark. So you're really getting a deal here. And as you can see, Talise is definitely worth it. She has that a little bit of an adventurous look in her eye, but she's calm and she's relaxed and she's just so soft, and she just needs a home where she can continue to be loved and well cared for. If you want to give her that, you stop in and visit her here at the shelter. Our address is 1832 Rosemont Avenue. The last feline we have for you today is Tyler, and if he looks familiar, that's because his brother Tippy has been on the show previously. Tippy and Tyler are both 7 years old, and they look pretty much identical. Tippy is a little bit more outgoing than Tyler is, but they both enjoy cuddling up on a nice lap. They're both pretty quiet. They like attention. They're very sweet guys. These guys are not a bonded pair or a better together pair. They're actually housed in different cages, and they're not even on the same side of the adoption floor because Tyler had a little bit of a cold, so he's actually on our far side of the adoption floor. They both came to us because their owner passed away. We talked about this earlier with Emmy. It's important to have a plan. We are here as a last resort, but it's important to find someone that you love, that will love your animals the same way that you do, and have a plan, because as I mentioned earlier, there are a lot of animals here right now for that reason, just because their owners passed away. And a lot of people think that it has to be a family member that takes their animals in. That's not necessarily the case. If you have a friend that you really trust and is going to provide quality care to your family, then you can ask them if they would be willing to step up and take care of that animal in the event that something were to happen to you. Tyler is a little bit shy, but he warms up pretty quickly. He went into his carrier nicely. I've seen him hanging out on some volunteer laps. And he's a senior cat at 7, so you know this is his personality. He might not be running up to greet your guests every time somebody comes over, but he's going to hang out with you and want to watch TV with you and cuddle up with you in bed probably. And you know that is his behavior. It's not going to change because this is his personality, this is his temperament. That's the great thing about adopting senior cats. The other great thing about adopting seniors here at the shelter is that they come with a little bit of a discount. Because he's 7 years old, he will go home for a $20 reduction in his adoption fee. Any of our seniors from the ages of 5 to 9 get a $20 reduction in their adoption fee, and when they are 10 and up, they get a $40 reduction in their adoption fee. Not because they are worth any less. They are amazing animals and are great contributors to families, but because sometimes people are a little shy and hesitant about adopting an older animal. They could have some more medical expenses. People are concerned that they're not going to be around for as long. Cats can live anywhere from 10 to 20 years depending on their genetics and their overall health and well-being. So don't let the fact that Tyler is 7 deter you from wanting to take him home and make him part of your family. He still has a long life ahead of him. If you are interested in Tyler or any of the animals that you've seen on the show today, you can't move forward with making them part of your family unless you stop in at the shelter and visit. Our address is 1832 Rosemont Avenue, and we are open for viewing of animals from 10 to 5 on Monday, Tuesday, and Friday, from 12 to 8 on Wednesday and Thursday, and on Saturdays from 10 to 4. We hope that you'll stop in and visit with Tyler and all of the animals, and maybe you'll find your new furry family member while you're visiting. We hope that you will also tune in next week where we introduce you to many more adoptable animals here at Frederick County Animal Control.